Three women sent me their stories. Separately, months apart, none of them knowing the others existed. The first woman told me about a voice that woke her in the middle of a fire that she shouldn't have survived. The second woman told me about a voice that spoke to her as she was drowning and pulled her back from something she describes as a door she was about to walk through permanently. The third woman told me about a voice she heard seconds before a crash that killed everyone else in the vehicle she was traveling in. Three different women, three different countries, three different nights that turned out to be the same night. I did not know that when I received the first account. I did not know that when I received the second. It was only when the third woman's message arrived that I went back to check the dates that I understood what I was actually holding. And when I checked what each of them had been told by the voice, the message was the same, word for word. This is what it said. I received Naomi's message first. It arrived on a Tuesday evening. A long account, carefully written, describing something that had happened to her 4 years earlier. She had never told anyone the full story. She said she had watched this channel for months before she found the courage to write it down and send it. I received Blessing's message 7 weeks later. Different woman, different country, different experience. I read it carefully as I read all accounts sent to this channel, and I noted the date of the events she described. I filed it. I moved on. Precious' message arrived 3 months after that. I was halfway through reading it when I stopped. Something about the language she used, a specific phrase she wrote to describe what she heard, was identical to a phrase Blessing had used. Not similar, identical. I went back to Blessing's account, then back to Naomi's, and I found the date, the same date, in all 3 accounts, the same night. I am going to tell you each account in full, everything each woman described, and then I am going to show you what I found when I laid all 3 side by side, because what connects these 3 women is not coincidence, and what the voice said to each of them before it saved their lives is something I believe certain people listening right now need to hear. Naomi's account begins 4 years ago on a night she described as the most ordinary night of her life, until the moment it became the last ordinary night of her life and the last night she almost had. Naomi was 27 years old. She lived alone in a modest rented room in a busy neighborhood. She was a trader, up before dawn every morning, at the market before most people had opened their eyes, home late most evenings with her feet aching, and her accounts carefully noted in the small book she kept in her bag. She described herself as a practical woman, not superstitious, not particularly given to spiritual experiences beyond her regular church attendance on Sundays. The night it happened was a Thursday. She had come home tired, eaten, checked her phone, and fallen into the deep sleep of someone who has been on her feet since 4 in the morning. She remembers nothing unusual about falling asleep. What she remembers is what woke her. It was not the smoke that woke her. She is specific about this. She has thought about it many times in the 4 years since. The sequence matters to her and she wants it stated correctly. It was not the smoke. It was not the heat. It was not any physical sensation at all. It was a voice. She describes it as a voice that was simultaneously inside her head and outside it, present in both spaces at once, in a way she says she cannot fully explain, but has never confused with a dream. Dreams, she told me, have a texture of unreality that you sometimes only recognize when you wake. This had no such texture. It was the clearest thing she had ever heard, The voice said 4 words. She wrote them to me exactly as she received them. Get up. Go now. That was all. No explanation. No elaboration. 4 words and a silence that she describes as the loudest silence she has ever experienced. A silence that left no room for hesitation or question. She got up. The moment she stood up from her bed, she saw the smoke. It was coming from the back of the room, from the area near the small kerosene stove she used for cooking. The fire had started silently while she slept, fed by a cloth that had fallen against the stove's base and had been burning for long enough that the back wall was already fully alight. She ran. She did not stop for her phone, did not stop for her bag, her money, her account book. She ran for the door and she got out. The room was fully consumed within minutes of her leaving it. The family in the next room, she had not thought to knock on their door in her flight. They were woken by the fire spreading to their wall 7 minutes later. They escaped with burns. Their young son was treated in hospital for smoke inhalation. Naomi was untouched. She told me she stood in the street watching her room burn and felt 2 things simultaneously. Gratitude so overwhelming it made her legs shake, and a specific question she has never been able to fully put down. She wrote, "Why did the voice wake me and not them? What was I being kept for that they were not?" I did not have an answer for her when I read that. By the time I had read all 3 accounts, I thought I might. Naomi survived. She rebuilt. She moved to a different neighborhood. She never fully understood why she was the one who was warned. 7 weeks after I received her account, a woman named Blessing sent me a message from a different country. And Blessing had been asking herself the same question for 3 years. Naomi survived fire. Blessing survived water. The circumstances were completely different. The country was completely different. The woman was completely different. The voice was not. Blessing was 31 years old when it happened. She was traveling home from a family gathering, a journey she had made many times before along a route she knew well. The last part of the journey required crossing a river by a small wooden ferry that operated until midnight. She had made this crossing dozens of times. The ferry was overcrowded that night, more passengers than it was built to carry. Something that was not unusual, something that the operator had managed before without incident. It capsized 20 meters from the far bank. Blessing told me she's not a strong swimmer. She described entering the water as entering something that immediately had intentions about her. A force that was not neutral, that pulled with a specific purposefulness that she had never felt in any body of water before or since. She went underwater. What happened next, she describes carefully, choosing each word with precision of someone who has rehearsed this account many times and is determined to be accurate rather than dramatic. She says, she was aware of going down. She was aware of the water above her. She was aware. And this is the part she says she has never told anyone who she thought might not believe her. Of a stillness that came over her that had nothing to do with the water. A complete stillness, a silence beneath the noise of the river. And in that stillness, something she describes as a door. Not a physical door, not something she saw with her eyes. Something she understood was there, The way you understand certain things in dreams with a certainty that bypasses the need for evidence. The door was open. She was moving towards it. And then the voice. She wrote the words to me the same way Naomi had, exactly as she received them. The voice said, "Not yet. Go back. You are not finished." She described the effect of those words as immediate and physical, as if something had been pulling her forward, reverse direction entirely. She came up. She does not know how. She is not a strong swimmer. The current was significant. The bank was 20 meters away in darkness. She came up and she reached the bank. 7 passengers from that ferry did not. She was pulled from the water by a man she had never been able to identify. A man who was there when she reached the bank, who helped her out of the water, and who was not there when she turned around later to thank him. Blessing spent 3 years asking the same question Naomi had asked. Why her? What she was being kept for? She wrote to me because she said she had not found the answers in 3 years of asking, and she wondered if telling the story to someone else might help her find it. She found more than she expected. 2 women, 2 countries, 2 nights that should have been their last, and a voice that spoke to each of them in the moment between life and what comes after. I had not yet connected the dates when Precious' message arrived, but Precious' account, the third and the most disturbing of the 3, was the one that made the connection impossible to ignore. Fire took everything Naomi owned and did not take her. Water took 7 lives and did not take blessings. Precious was in a vehicle that left the road at high speed on a night that none of the other 4 passengers survived. She walked away and she had heard a voice. Precious was 24 years old. She was traveling with 4 colleagues, returning from a work event in a neighboring town. A journey of about 2 hours on a road they all knew. The driver was experienced. The vehicle was roadworthy. The night was clear. There was no obvious reason for what happened. Precious told me she had been half asleep for most of the journey. The comfortable drowsiness of someone tired after a long day, lured by the motion of the vehicle and the low conversation of her colleagues. Then she was fully awake. Not gradually, instantly, as if a switch had been thrown. She estimates what followed lasted 7 seconds. She became fully awake, and in the moment of waking, before she had oriented herself, before she had remembered where she was or why she was in a moving vehicle, a voice. She wrote 8 words to me exactly. Hold on. Cover your face. Do not let go. She obeyed before she understood. She grabbed the seat in front of her with both hands. She turned her face into her shoulder. She held on with everything she had. The vehicle left the road seconds later. She does not remember the impact. She remembers the stillness afterwards, the silence, the specific quality of silence that follows something violent and sudden. A silence that seems to press inward rather than simply being the absence of sound. She remembers becoming aware that she was still holding on, both hands still gripping the seat in front of her, face still turned into her shoulder. She remembers letting go. She remembers looking around. She was the only person in that vehicle who was conscious. She was the only person in that vehicle who survived. She told me She sat in the wreckage for a period of time she cannot accurately estimate. She says it could have been 2 minutes or 20 before she was able to move. During that time, she was aware of one thing above all others. The voice was gone. Not fading, not receding, simply gone. The way a presence leaves a room, complete and final. She wrote, "I knew in that moment that whatever had spoken to me had done what it came to do. It had not stayed. It had come specifically for those 7 seconds, and then it had left. And I have spent 2 years trying to understand why those 7 seconds were worth coming for." She sent her account because she wanted those 7 seconds witnessed. She did not know she was about to find out that 2 other women had been given the same 7 seconds. I had all 3 accounts in front of me. 3 women, 3 countries, 3 different kinds of death that did not happen. And now, I was going to do something I should have done weeks earlier. I was going to check the dates. I want to tell you exactly how I found it. Not because the process is dramatic. It is not. It is just a person sitting at the desk, going back through messages and writing down dates. But I want you to understand that what I am about to tell you was not something I was looking for. Naomi's event, I had the date she gave me, a Thursday night, a specific month, a specific year. Blessing's event, I found her message. I found the date she gave me. I wrote it beside Naomi's. They were the same. I told myself it was coincidence. 2 women, 2 accounts, same date. Significant, but possibly explainable. Then I found Precious' date, the same night. 3 women, 3 countries, 3 events that should each have been fatal, all on the same night. I sat with that for a long time. Then I went back and read each account again, not for the events, for the words. Naomi heard, "Get up, go now." Blessing heard, "Not yet, go back, you are not finished." Precious heard, "Hold on, cover your face, do not let go." 3 different instructions, specific to each woman's situation, specific to what each woman needed to do in that moment to survive. But then, I found the other thing. The thing all 3 of them had written at the end of their accounts. In their own words, in their own languages, translated for me. About what the voice had said after the survivor instruction that saved each of their lives. All 3 of them had written it down. All 3 of them had said they did not understand what it meant. All 3 of them had been carrying it for years. The words were the same. In the moment before the voice left each of them, all 3 women wrote that they heard the same thing. 3 accounts, 3 different countries, 3 months apart, 1 message. What was done to you was not meant to end here. You were kept because what you carry has not yet been given. Do not waste the time you were given back. 3 women who had never met. 3 women who will never meet. Each of them kept alive on the same night. Each of them giving the same message. What you carry has not yet been given. I have read those words many times since I found them. And every time I read them, I think about the people listening to this right now. The ones who have survived something they cannot explain. The ones who are still here and do not yet know why. I think this message was not only for those 3 women.
Naomi,
Blessing, Precious, 3 women who trusted me with the most inexplicable nights of their lives. I want to ask you something before you go, and I want you to sit with it rather than answer it quickly. Have you survived something that you cannot explain? Not just accident or an illness. Something where, if you are being honest with yourself, the margin between what happened and what should have happened is too narrow to be luck. If that is you, drop your comment below. Just let someone know you are still here. And if this found you at the moment you needed to hear that survival is not random, share it with one person today. This is Dangerous African Confessions HD. We shall meet again in the next episode. But before then, if you haven't watched our previous videos already, the link will be in the description box.